talk about the Jewish Passover that God instituted and a new calendar. See, God did not just change what they did, He changed when time starts. He says, as of today, you will live under a new calendar, a new timeline. You're to forget what you did in Egypt and how Egypt even kept time. I'm going to set you a new timeline. And the way you're going to keep up and you're going to track time, you're going to track it according to my time, not the Egyptian time. Go to the next slide for me. So, God instituted, and we'll see it in the scripture here, their first month as starting on Nisan. Okay? That's their new first month. And you can see that He gave them a whole new calendar. It doesn't line up with our calendar. It's their calendar. This is the Jewish calendar. And all of their different things they do are based on that new calendar that God gave them. Most people have never even heard of this. Exodus 1 through 28. Now the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be your beginning of months. It shall be your first month of the year to you. I don't care what the month is in Egypt anymore. This is a new beginning for you. I am taking you out of Egypt. I am starting you on a new path. Everything that is old is gone. This is how you will track even time from now. Speak to all the congregations of Israel, saying, on the 10th of this month, every man shall take for him a lamb. Why the 10th of the month? If this is a Passover, why are they doing it on the 10th of the month? Because the beginning of the month was the day that he first went in to talk to Pharaoh. It took 10 days of that month before they had the night of the Passover. On the 10th day of the month, every man shall take for himself a lamb according to the house of his father, a lamb for a household. And if the household is too small for a lamb, let him and his neighbor next to his house take it according to the number of the persons. According to each man needs you shall make your count for the lamb. How much do you eat? How many people are in your house? So if it's just being Peggy, trying to eat a whole lamb because you can't leave any to the next day, it would be too much for us. But let's say I got a next door neighbor, they got 3 people in their house. Now we got 5 people, we can share a lamb between the 2 of us. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year, with no broken bones. It says it in a different place in the scriptures. You shall take it from the sheep or from a goat. So it doesn't have to be a baby sheep. It can be a young goat also. Now you shall keep it till the 14th day. It shall live with you in your house. You shall feed it by your hand. You shall make sure nothing happens to it. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't hurt itself or anything else. Wait a minute. Does this kind of sound familiar? Okay, Jesus was the perfect lamb with no broken bones, no blemishes. God is speaking of the future here. He's giving a picture of the future of Jesus Christ in this whole thing. And they shall take, the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it at twilight. You should kill that lamb. Dress it. Can't eat the blood of it. So you got to do all the things. Most of you have never cleaned a deer, so you don't know the process of hanging a deer. Okay? But there's certain things you can do. You don't just go get a lamb and, chop it up. There's certain ways to prepare it properly. He said do the proper things that you need to do to get that lamb ready to go for that evening. That's why he had you start at twilight. And they shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and the lintel. That is above the doorpost. They smeared blood there. Of the house where they will eat it. Oh, and by the way, when they go in that house, they don't come out till the next day. If your family and the next door family came in and you ate the Passover, they're spending the night with you. I hope you got an extra bed, okay? Because in the Jewish world, they would spend the night. They would not leave that house. And they shall eat the flesh of it on the night, roasted by fire with unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Okay? With bitter herbs they shall eat it. And you're not to leave any of it. Notice you can't boil it. They had to roast it. Now let's talk about the center plate. Oh. Now why doesn't that look like mine? Hit the button one more time. No, go back. I'll just have to read it from mine. For some reason it didn't pop up there. So you see there's different little bowls in the plate. Each one of those has a meaning. So the first one is the zora, which is the shank bone. Usually roasted lamb shank bone, just as shown to represent the lamb that was sacrificed the night of the Jewish left Egypt. This is a bone after you've already eaten it. It's a representation. Next, the maror. This is a bitter herb which reminds the Jews of the bitterness of their slavery their forefathers endured in Egypt. Now, in the Jewish family on Passover, you would have this there almost as a decoration on the plate. You're not eating this. You have a meal you have created that has all these kind of things in it. But this is something that to remind them of what it is that they're celebrating. The next, the karset, which is apple, nuts, spices, and wine mixed together, resembles the mortar and brick made by the Jews when they were in slavery in Egypt under Pharaoh. Next is the lettuce, or karzet. I can't say that word. I can't speak Israeli very well. You have to forgive me. Romaine lettuce symbolizing the fact that the Jewish stay in Egypt began soft with Joseph, but ended hard and bitter. When they went in the land, they were loved, they were taken care of. Joseph made sure that his people had the best of it, but it ended in bitterness. Parsley, karpes. Parsley is a symbol of spring and a new beginning. We're leaving the land, we're starting something new. A roasted egg, or betzel, I probably said that really bad, is said that the round of the egg represents the cycle of life, the new beginning and a new ending. Okay? This is what you would see in a Jewish house on Passover, somewhere in the house, usually on the table. Don't eat, and he's talking about the sheep or the goat, don't eat it raw, nor boil it with water, but roast it with fire, its head with its legs and its entrails. You shall let none of it remain until the morning. What remains, what you don't eat of it, until morning. What you don't eat of it, you shall burn with fire. There should be nothing left. Turn it to ashes. And thus you shall eat it with your belt on your waist, your sandal on your shoes, on your feet, and your staff in your hand, like you're about to go on a trip. Now we're talking about Israelis even today. This is how they eat the Passover, as if they're fixing to leave on a long trip. It's the Lord's Passover. Next slide, please. Now we'll talk about the death angel. For I will pass through the land of Egypt on the night, and I will strike the firstborn of the land of Egypt, both man and beast. Against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. That statement, I am the Lord. There is no other. They have been grown up to know all the different gods of Egypt, Horus and all those other ones. God said all that is over. You have to forget that. I'm the Lord. I'm the one that did all these miracles. I'm the one bringing you out of the land. You need to focus on me and forget all that other stuff. Now the blood shall be a sign to you on the house where you are. And when I, the death angel, see the blood, I will pass over you. And the plague shall not be on you to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. Every house, you're inside of it, you've got the blood as he's going through and he's killing the firstborns of everybody. When he came to a house and the lintel had the blood, you were passed over. That's where the word Passover comes from. So this day shall be to you a memorial, and you shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. That's till today. The Israeli people all over the world keep Passover in the same way. Now they've modified it here and there. They've made doing the whole thing with the lamb easier for them to do and all that. But they don't forget what happened and how they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do and how they honor what God did. You shall keep it as a feast by an everlasting ordinance. 7 days. Hear that? 7 days you shall keep this. Not 1 day. Why 7 days? Because it took 7 days to get all the multitude of Israel out of Egypt. To get them out of the cities and towns and gather them up and get them. This was a big undertaking, folks. We're talking about million plus people that all had to get their food and their clothes and their carriage, had to load the wagons and all this and start moving, gathering together, becoming companies so that they could move out. It was not something that just happened. They didn't say, oh, get out of here, boom, and they're gone. This is a big ordeal. It affected every part of Egypt. "7 days you shall eat unleavened. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day you remove the leaven from your houses." Ladies, that means anything that has any yeast in it. You have to read all the cans of your canned goods and all. Everything that has any yeast in it has to go out of your house. And until this is over, it can't come back in. All your bread goods, crackers, everything. You've got to check it all and make sure there's no yeast in it. And if it is, didn't say you had to throw it away, but it had to leave your house. Maybe you send it over to your neighbor's house, they put it in the garage till the next day. Okay? Until this is over. Whoever eats unleavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that person shall be cut off from Israel. Will be considered not part of the nation anymore. They take this seriously. Go to the next one. The Passover. There's the 7 days, and they have very specific things. They got a name for each one of the days. And it has specific things that they have to do. Everybody in the house on the first day. Now, we Baptists, so this is kind of discerning to us. Everybody, from the oldest to the smallest, drinks a glass of wine. Okay? Now, they've got de-alcoholic wine now, I'm sure, for some of the kids and stuff. But we're considered across the world very prudish people, because in most countries, children drink wine like we drink water. In some cases, for good reason. It's because the water in some places is very, very poor. Wine is cleaner. It's been filtered. It has gone through the whole process. It's better for you. And in some cases, in some countries, in the water you drink. There are still cities in this world that if you live in the city, the water runs down a trough in front of your house. And your little pee pot you pee in, yeah, you go dump it in that water trough. And the rule is if it travels more than a distance, it's about like 10 feet or so, it's considered pure again. And that person down there is scooping that water up and putting it on a bowl to cook their food in. Yeah, look at the ladies' faces right now. Okay? The world doesn't live the way we live. Their customs aren't the same. So some things that we do and they do, we go, oh, they do that? Yes, they do. It's where their land is how their society is set up, seems strange to us. But I'm going to tell you something. I've been around the world for a lot of the world. And a lot of things that we do seem completely oddball to them. So you can see that each day they're doing a different thing. Day 5, I guess they get a second glass of wine on day 5, okay? But they have certain foods they eat, have certain things they do. They have certain rituals of washing that they do throughout these 7 days. On the first day, there should be a holy convocation, just like coming to church. And on the 7th day, there should be a holy convocation. You begin and you end with a holy convocation. It'll be Sunday to Sunday. No manner of work shall be done on them,